Hi Flosstube! Welcome to my channel, Bobo Stitch and Quilt. My name is Jessie, and this is a channel primarily about cross-stitching and sometimes quilting. If you are a subscriber and you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you continue to come back and join me. If you are new, welcome, and I'm happy to have you. And so I'm coming to you a week early. Today is Sunday, July 26th. And normally I try to record these every other week, and I decided to go ahead and do a video today because I have really enjoyed watching the handful of videos that have been done with the Bellastitch pandemic tag by Bellastitch, and so I wanted to go ahead and do my own tag video and share with everybody. So it's still going to be a little bit of a mini update because it's only been a week, but I'm going to kind of weave it in is what I hope is going to happen. And as by preview, you can see in the background, I am going to be doing I'm going to be filming separately some videos about my quilt tops. I have gotten some requests for more quilting because that is more what I do in recent years, and so I'm going to show you some of the tops I have that are waiting to be quilted. But they're going to be in, I think, I haven't quite decided yet. I think it kind of depends on how long the little videos are going to be, but I'm thinking about making like little quilt tube extras as little show and tells, but we'll see. As you know, I also might just stick them on at the end of videos when I don't have any quilt content. I can just be like, hey, here's a quilt that I did that's been done, and because it takes me a while to do some quilting. Anyways, with that, let's get to some cross stitching and the tag. So I'm going to be sure to include links in below for everything. So once again, this is the hashtag Bellastitch pandemic tag, and this is by Bellastitch. So I will link the video where she introduces it and the questions. So if you are interested in doing your own, you can do it too. I really have enjoyed listening to how everyone has been responding to the pandemic and their cross stitching. So this has actually been a really fun tag for me. I find it very interesting. So question number 1. What country are you in? I am in Texas, and that is the joke, right? Texas kind of considers itself its own country. We were for about 10 years before we joined the United States, so I guess technically it is, but I am in the United States of America, and that is home. When did you start staying home? So I actually have the exact date. I keep a little gratitude journal, and I put in here when I went home, and I looked it up, and so I'm going to let you know kind of what happened in Houston, which is that on March 10th, my husband and I went to the rodeo, the Houston Livestock and Rodeo, and we saw NTC 127 in concert, which is the first time that the Houston Rodeo ever had a K-pop performance. And I like to support the Asians. We make sure the representation matters, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in the video. And so, as a half Asian, I love it when we support Asian culture as a general thing, and so we went to go see NTC 127. It was just a thing of mine. I went to. It was fun. By the way, it's really fun. If you ever have a chance to go to a K-pop concert, even if you're not a fan, it's so fun. It was really a lot of fun. But that was the last performance of the rodeo. It was only like in the second week of the rodeo, and the next day the rodeo got canceled on March 11th. And that matters because as soon as the rodeo got canceled, everyone knew that stay-at-home orders were expected, and so we began prepping that day to go home. And as expected, my company on Monday the 16th basically announced, like, everyone go home at the end of the day, and I started working from home on March 17th, and that is effectively when my lockdown began. The actual stay-at-home orders, I don't think, went into effect in Harris County, which is where the county that I live in, which is where Houston is. Didn't go into effect for another week after that when everyone was sent home. But for me, it was March 17th, and I've been home ever since. And in my little diary, I keep a count. And today is day 132 of being at home. So, yay. To be fair, I did take a little mini vacation. It wasn't one. So if you watched my video last week, you know that my husband and I went to Galveston, which is just a couple of hours away from here, from where I live. It was a little staycation, really, for all intents and purposes, because it was just like down a town down the street for all, 2 hours may seem like a lot. In Houston, it takes me an hour and a half to drive to work in the morning with rush hour. So it's not really like to me, it's just a slightly longer commute. But otherwise, for the most part, we've stayed home. We've run essential errands, and that's it. We went to go visit my husband's family one time, and in Austin, and that was it. So, number 3, did staying home bother you? No, it does not. I am an introvert, so I thrive on self-reflection, self-time, and being on my own, type of a thing. My husband's an introvert as well, so that makes it, we're not hermits, right? Like we don't cocoon in our house like all the time. It's not who we are. We actually do a lot of things, but in generalities, I am an introvert, so being at home hasn't really bothered me so much, because I have him, and we, thankfully like each other's company, and so it's, so it hasn't really bothered me. There are things that I miss. I really miss being able to see my friends and my family, specifically my mom. I don't see my brothers as frequently as I like, they have their own lives, type of a thing. But we do see each other. But I would see my mom about once a month, and since we've gone home, I haven't seen her. I talk to her, but I want to make sure she's safe, and so I didn't pack her up and send her away, but basically she is staying with a friend who is also the same age as her, and they are staying isolated, and to protect themselves as much as possible. And so I do think things like that bother me a little bit about staying at home, because I can't see her and I can't make sure she's okay, and I don't know when I want to see her, and so that's a little hard. So it's things like that. I belong to a quilting group that meets once a month in person, in general, but weirdly we meet more frequently now, because now we do a weekly Zoom get together, as opposed to just getting together once a month where we spent the whole day together. We're now spending 1 to 2 hours on a Zoom meeting once a week. So I see them more frequently. It probably equals up to the same amount of time, right? A whole day versus 1 to 2 hours once a week. But things like that. I miss that aspect of it. And we like to do things, right? We like going, we enjoyed theater. We are big Broadway musical fans, and we're in the opera and the movies, so we were season ticket holders to theater and the opera, and we went to the movies a lot. All the things that introverts like to do, we did, and so I do miss it. But does it bother me that I can't see it? No, because I'd rather people be safe at home, and we've kind of gotten our fix in different ways, right? We may have watched Hamilton more than a few times on Disney Plus as it's come out. We make sure that has the show must go on. When they were showing their musicals every week, we would watch that, make donations to the appropriate actors funds and stuff like that. So we want to continue supporting the arts while we can. So anyways, that was long-winded. Not really bothered, but upset by the impact of it. 4, are you an essential worker? Yes, technically I am. I'm a legal aid worker. I work in legal aid. I'm a legal aid attorney, and legal services are considered essential services. Now, that being said, I work from home, so I'm very fortunate in that I'm able to do that, and if I needed to, I can go do what I need to go do, but I don't. But in what I particularly do, I don't have to. And so essential in the sense of like the services are necessary, but I don't have to be out of my home to do the work that I do. And for any watchers out there, any viewers out there, if you happen to be attorneys, I highly encourage you to reach out to your local legal aid organizations. We need your pro bono assistance, and just to have a little mini soapbox, for everyone out there. Like, there's a lot of legal needs out there, and so it's that COVID bring up that can be difficult to deal with. I believe in estate planning and advanced planning, and everyone should have it regardless of time of year. Like I think that you always should have them, but COVID has kind of put a spotlight on those needs, not just wills, but also making sure you have power of attorneys in place, that people know what your medical decisions are going to be, things along that line. So we are dealing with that, and knowing that, people who are essential workers that must work outside the home, must encounter people. Many of them are low income and can't afford those services, and so I'm really fortunate that I do this work because I can provide those services to those people. But the need is so much more than the resources that are available. So if you know an attorney, if you are an attorney and you got some time on your hands, we love your pro bono work, at least in estate planning. There's also other things. Domestic violence is up, so there's a need for family law assistance. There's a need for eviction assistance there, except unless you live in New York, there's no right to counsel in eviction defenses. There's, depending on where you live, there's some protections in place, but they're all lifting in different stages. So anyways, that's my legal soapbox. And there's a lot of other legal issues that are going to come out of the economic impact of COVID, and these are people who can't afford attorneys. So that's my description of being an essential worker in legal services. How do you cope with the current situation? I do feel like a weird level of guilt about this, because I don't think that I am really I'm not doing too bad, I don't think. How have I been coping? We watch a lot of TV. We watch a lot of feel-good TV, and we do that on purpose. We definitely, we watch things like The Great Flower Fight on Netflix, and Repair Shop. That is a recommendation. If you got the Netflix, I'm going to recommend you watch The Repair Shop. It's like this little shop in England, in a living museum. Although we learned after the fact that it's not there all the time, that they just built the studio just for the show. But it's all of these amazing, I don't even know what you call them. People who know how to repair antiques and things, and and it's amazing, to watch these furniture repair people refurbish, not just refurbish, repair and get furniture that's been around before the United States got its independence, and you're just mind blown by that. Or some people who had dolls from World War II, and them getting restored and seeing the love that they have for their stuff. So anyways, that is some feel-good TV. I do recommend if you need something to watch to make you feel good about life and to remind you life is good. Repair Shop. Highly recommend Repair Shop. So yeah, I think we do that. I do a lot of, I do the cross stitching, I do quilting. My husband plays video games. So I think we're coping in that way. And yeah, so I think we're doing okay. I hope so, anyways. How many projects have you started since lockdown? So, this is where I can do a little bit of a segue, talking about projects. Not many. Let me get my project notebook up. Not many, because when we went into lockdown, I had hoped, and my optimism that we would only be in lockdown for the initial period of time, right? And it was a lengthy period of time. I can't remember what the initial order was, but I think it was like, it was solid. Like, I think it was till the end of May, or it may have been originally till the end of April and then extended till the end of May. So I thought it was going to be like 2 months, right? Like, I thought, based on what was happening in other countries and everything, I was like, okay, we're going to be in lockdown for 2 months, maybe 3. And so in my brain, I thought I would focus, right? I was like, I am going to make something my quarantine project. Like, this is all I'm going to work on while we're in quarantine, and I'm not going to worry about that. And because I was a monogamous stitcher for the most part, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. And so I was like, so I'm just going to focus on something. And so I did. And so for 2 months, for pretty much April and most of May, I didn't participate in Stitch Mania, did Monogamania basically, and I focused on Cinderella's Wishes Upon a Dream, which is my full coverage piece that I've had for a few years, but I started working on it in earnest this year, right? Like I started working on it like in October or November of last year, like and then like I was like, this is gonna be my focus piece and where I would work on it during the week. So I'm gonna insert right here a picture of what it will look like when it is done, and where I was the last time you saw it, which I think was I think it was like 3 weeks ago, because I didn't work on it for my vacation, so I don't think I had an update for you last week. So I'm inserting it here. Okay, and this is where I am now. So my goal for July was to finish the page, and as a reminder, it's really only 4 pages. The way that the pattern is printed in the kit, it is 4 pages, but it's really 8 pages, and it's 8.5 by 11. So this section here is 1 page, but I completed 1/2 of it already, that 8.5 by 11. And so my goal was to finish the rest of this. And so it's really only this little part. My estimate is that it's probably about 500 stitches left, and that's it. But this piece is extraordinarily confetti heavy, and so it takes me a long time. And also, much to my dismay, this whole section right here uses the pearl iridescent floss, which is a pain to use. It's crinkly, it breaks easily, so you have to use it in smaller threads. It doesn't stitch well. I can't find my thread heaven anywhere, which I think would make a difference. And because I know I have some, I can't convince myself to go buy more, which is silly. It's not like it's expensive to buy like this thread conditioner now. But anyways, so that's where I am. And so in quarantine, I was focused strictly on this project for April and May. And so that's all I did. And just so that you are kind of aware, like my start was I start in the middle, and then I kind of work my way to the left, and then I fill in. Then I go kind of like in a circle. And so I had done this little part, and then I kind of had meandered over here. And so I filled in almost the entire castle, from the castle onto the left, and then over here is what I've done since quarantine. So I was a novice stitcher for 2 months in quarantine. And then I realized we're never going to go back to work, like, ever. No, I'm just kidding. But that was like, all right, this is getting crazy. I need to bring in some stuff. So in total number of projects that I've started, in addition to that, 4 projects. 4? Does that sound right? I guess that sounds right. I started Chinese Zodiac, my no-face knitting project, Emily's House by Lindy Stitchers, and so Chinese Zodiac's by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, there's Stitch Along. Emily's House by Linda Stitches and Christmas is Coming by Barbara Anna Designs, which was a July start here. So that is what I've started since quarantine. How many projects have you finished since lockdown? None. I haven't finished any of them. I started all of them. I have not finished any of them. So this week, I only worked on Cinderella and for this weekend. So what I do is I have a focus piece, which is what I work on from Monday through Friday. My weekday, I focus on a piece. And so this week, I focused on Cinderella. And then I work on a project over the weekends. And so this week, because it was Christmas in July, it was July 25th yesterday, I've been focusing on Barbara Anna's Christmas is Coming. So I am going to go ahead and insert a picture here of what it will look like when we are done, and where I was in the last update, which was just a week ago. Right now. And here we are, as of right now, today. I'm really excited about this. Honestly, if I didn't stop to film the video, I think I probably would have been able to finish this today. I still think I'm going to. It's still early enough in the evening, and kind of depending on the editing and processing of this video. But I expect to finish it this week. So I think in the next update, I will have a finish of Christmas is Coming by Barbara Anna's Design. And so basically what I've done since last week was that I finished this cart of homes. I filled in more stars, and I'm about halfway done on the elves, the little elves cart. And so really all that's left is to have a couple of more little roofs on this. There's I guess the little, I don't know, balloons. I've been calling them balloons, and the left side of the banner. And that's it. So this should be done soon. So I will have a finish in cross stitching soon, in a week, I would say. I did have a quilting finish while I was in lockdown, and so, but otherwise I haven't had any finish. I work on these big full coverage pieces, and they take forever. And then my weekends are the weekends, right? There's only so much time you can put into stitching. Although I do a lot more now because we haven't been going anywhere. So, you know, who knows? I might get more done. Where have I been doing my pandemic stash shopping? I don't do lots of stash building. In general, I tend to buy and kit up projects specifically. I have been doing a lot more shopping. I feel very obligated to try to support people as best as I can. So I've ordered cross-stitching stuff from 123 Stitch. I had a order from them, but otherwise I've ordered mostly from ABC Stitch Therapy. They are a LNS here in the Houston area, and they have an online shop, and so I've made most of my orders from them. I also order from both quilting and cross stitching from Fat Quarter Shop, and I've made 2 orders for quiltings from a family-owned quilt shop in Utah called Simply Stitches Fabric Shop, and Hawthorne Supply Company. I'll link everything below if anyone's interested in any of these companies. But ABC Stitch is primarily who I've been ordering from. Oh, yesterday, because it was Christmas in July, I did put in a really massive order at Hanging Threads for their Picture This Plus fabrics, which I expect I will see, like, who knows. I think it's in 2 months. I think it's what the website, they said it was 10 to 13 weeks in production. So it'll be like a nice, pleasant surprise. I went on a tear this month. Like, in a few weeks, I'm going to have a pretty hefty haul video to show, because I did get all of the fabric, but it doesn't feel like I got that much. Like, honestly, like, I think I only got like 4 fabrics, but I got like a yard or half a yard of each or something like that. So it was basically, I was kind of stocking up for projects that I know I'm going to be working on for the next year. And so it's you know, I basically spent like 3 months of like hobby supply budget in one day. So that's okay. Number 9, are you joining in the hashtag Damn It Megan Sal? I would like to if I get to it, basically. So the hashtag Damn It Megan Sal is the Long Dog Samplers Pandemic Sal. And I did download it. I do have it. I also have the Templar's Prophecy, which is burning in my little project bag for me to do. But I had a lot of decision paralysis when it came to what fabric I wanted to use and what floss I wanted to use. And so I finally made up my mind. And so that was part of my order from Hanging Threads yesterday, was the 2 fabrics that I'm going to be using for for both of those. And so depending on when I get it, whether or not people are still working on it, I don't know. It's a long dog sampler. People are going to be working on it for a while. But so I'll probably join in at that stage. But that being said, like, again, the Templar's Prophecy has just been, I've been thinking about that for months, like since the first time I saw it. I've been thinking about it for months, and I finally was like, just buy it, you know, because I was working on Cinderella. I didn't want to have I have a lot of full coverage and really big piece patterns that take forever to do, because I'm slow. I'm a slow stitcher, and but I want to work on it, so I'm gonna work on it. Anyways, are you joining Stitch M in her hashtag schlogalong? I really want to. I am not going to. So I will link the video below to Stitch M's video where she talks about the pattern, which is a Mirabilia. Duchess Ruad, I think is the name of the pattern. I'll put in a little correction if that's not it. And you, if you look up the pattern, you will see why. And of course you can watch Stitch M's video and see it as well. And yeah, let me tell you, I love a good ironic stitch like the next person. I really do. But that being said, I'm an odd duck, which is I have no major desire to stitch Mirabilia. I don't stitch the pretty ladies, so to speak. And it's funny, and it's fun, and I think I would get it. I would think I would giggle, and I would have a lot of fun doing it. I can't convince myself to kind of invest in the everything to be able to do it. So I'm gonna just follow Stitch M along in her slog along and live vicariously through her, and hopefully anybody else who's doing it. But I just don't stitch quickly enough. I don't have enough, to be able to bring that in and work on the other stuff I want to work on. So she might be okay with that. But anyways, she's great. If you haven't been watching her, she's fantastic. I'm gonna say, like, recently discovered her. Like she's like a new favorite. I still owe you videos of like people that I gotta make notes and get them all in there. Anyways, but she's fun. What other SALs have you joined? I have not joined any other SAL. So I do the Frosted Pumpkin Chinese Zodiac Stitch Along. So I've been doing that. That's the only thing I think I've joined officially. I did start Emily's House as part of the Diversity SAL, but I haven't been, like, I don't hashtag that when I post updates on that, because the sentiment behind it, I feel, is diversity focused and it aligns with the work that I do. But because I'm not doing any conversions and stitching people, I don't know if I felt weird about hashtagging that as part of my diversity SAL. But I did do that as well. I started it on Juneteenth. I had hoped to be able to like focus on that and get it done by July 4th. That didn't happen. Like, I get like these plans in my head. Like, I can do that. I can't. I don't stitch quickly enough to be able to do all that. I'm always so surprised by some people who stitch really quickly. There's a person I watch, Stitching Big Things with Hallie. I think that's right. I'm pretty sure that's right. She's great, by the way. Like, she's fantastic. I love her channel. I think she's only done a handful, maybe six videos. But she stitches these giant pieces, and I'm just like flabbergasted at like her updates and like how much she gets done. Her, you know, her whip go, like, was to do like a mirabilia, which is like these two ladies, and one of them was to finish one lady, and I'm like, what? Like, my whip go is like 2,000 stitches in a piece. Right? Like, and, you know, like, that's it. I'm like, let's see if I can get that done. So I'm always kind of impressed by that. So, so that's it. Those are the only two sales. Oh, no, that's not true. I also joined Allison's Glass Stitch Club. I was late to join. I joined that in mid-July. So I've gotten, so I haven't, so I'm behind. I'm already behind. But the June was an introduction to the long stitch, and July is on Shashiko. And so I have placed an order with Allison Glass. I guess I did order from Allison Glass. So I'm kind of waiting for those supplies for the Stitch Club projects. And so hopefully I'll get those soon, and then I'll catch up and I'll have some more things to show you. But this month is Shashiko, and because I had taken a quilt class, I did pull out all of my Shashiko supplies that I had, which is not a whole lot. I had some thread and the needles already, but I had made this little thing. I'll show that, and I had started doing the little little circles. You can see that I've done that. So anyways, I ordered a panel for Shashiko from Allison Glass for cranes, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that's going to be my technical project for the Stitch Club when I get all of those supplies. But in the meantime, I'm probably going to go ahead and practice my stitching, so that way I can look really good. But yeah, so I did join that. It's not a sal, but it's a monthly Stitch Club. It's 6 months, and $36 for 6 months, and so $6 a month to get these really beautiful online magazines, and it gives you some great history about different types of embroidery and different projects and everything, and you'll get all of the past issues if you join now. Not that I'm not sponsored or anything like that. It was just something that one of my best friends was doing, and she thought I would enjoy it, so I trust her judgment in many things, so I tried it. So anyway, so that's it. That's really kind of everything that I have done. I haven't done any quilt-alongs either. I quilt very, very slowly, so that's not something I do. 12, which is the last question. What are you looking forward to in the second half of 2020? I am not an optimist about the situation here in the United States. I probably shouldn't say that, but it's true. I try really hard not to be political. I am a very engaged political person. I have some strong opinions, but I don't think public health is a political issue. So I don't feel like it's not about politics, right? Like, this is about whether or not people are able to make the sacrifices that they make to ensure that we slow things down. But the reality is that the last major pandemic of any big scale that the United States has really experienced was the Spanish flu of 1918. And that took almost 3 years, I think. And I think it's definitely almost 3 years for it to kind of get at hand. And we still get a flu shot, right? So, but of course that's a different virus, different mutations and all that kind of stuff. But, so I'm not super optimistic about, and I know that other countries have seemed to have gotten it under control and are reopening and everything, and I think that they're different countries, different ways of doing things than the United States does things, and different type of leadership styles, and you know, we have the states and the local governments in addition to our federal government, And so anyways, basically saying I'm not really looking forward to a whole lot in the second half of 2020 because I don't think anything's really going to change very much. I think we're going to continue to work from home. I think that at least my organization will continue to stay home for the foreseeable future, which I think is at least through the end of the summer, if not through the end of September at minimum. I'll be surprised if there's not another stay-at-home order issued in Texas. I think it should be. I think we just need to do it, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do think we need to do it. So anyways, it's basically saying I'm not looking forward to anything, because I don't think anything's going to change. I mean, I'm looking forward to the election. Make good choices, people. On all levels, I think that one of the things that this has shown is that the leadership you have really does matter. Our local leadership had a lot more to do with what happened in the response to COVID than our state and national leaders did. And but that being said, our national leaders had a huge impact in the type of relief that was available to people economically impacted. And our state officials play a big role in the relief that would be available to people who are economically impacted. So I think that, elections matter. I don't care who you vote for. Well, I do. But I'm not who you do vote for. Go vote. Register to vote. I'm looking forward to the election. What else am I looking forward to? I don't know. I guess more cross-stitching. Halloween. Halloween's my favorite holiday. We don't have children, so it's like we don't get to experience that aspect of Halloween. I love dressing up for Halloween. Last year, my husband and I dressed up as characters from The Good Place. I was Janet. Oh no, that wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago. Last year, we were in Disney World for Halloween, which was a bucket list item for mine, and we were Snow White and Prince Charming. But I love Halloween, so I am looking forward to Halloween. I hope it doesn't get canceled per se, right? You think that this is, if you're gonna have a pandemic holiday, Halloween, right? You wear a mask, you stay far away, you're already inspecting all of the candy anyways, right? Like the hard part would be the kids not being able to eat the candy right away. Like you need to go like sit at a place for like, however long they recommend to keep things away for the virus to die, right? But like you think that's a but the hard part is right, like I mean, we're not gonna like, because the kids can't come to the door and you can't open the door and like, oh my gosh, it looks so cute, and they like lean over and drop the candy in their baskets because obviously there's no social distancing in that thing, and like you're not gonna have a situation where like the adults are gonna open the door and be like, hey, and you're gonna like toss candy at the kids. Here, have some candy. Although there'll probably be some kids who would find that really fun. Just say. Halloween. I'm looking forward to Halloween if we can have Halloween. It is my favorite holiday. And so I hope that happens. That's it. So like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else I'm looking forward to. This is a long video. Looking at the time, it's at 38 minutes right now. Wow, I can talk. So that's it. So I'm going to wrap up with some plans. I don't think I have any. I think it's more of the same. I think I'm going to continue working on Cinderella as my focus piece during the week. I'm going to try to get that page done. I only have a few more days to hit my goal to finish the page by the end of July, which is an arbitrary goal. That's just a goal I made for myself, but it's also my whip go for the month, so it would be nice if I hit it. It was like a stitch number, and I'm halfway through the stitch. I think I put like 2,000 stitches, which would have covered what was the finishing of the page, and so I think I've done like about 1,000 stitches. So I don't know. I'm halfway. I don't know. I don't count my Cinderella stitches. I just count the squares as I finish. And when I counted the squares I needed to finish, I had like 10 left. And so I think I've done 5 or 6 of those squares, the 10 by 10 squares. anyways, so, and then I'm going to finish Barbara Anna's Christmas is Coming. Then I'll probably move back to catching up on my Chinese Zodiac, honestly. And then I'll probably spin the wheel to decide what's going to be my focus piece. It'll probably be Emily's house. I love Emily's house. I really want to work on it. So I'm probably going to do that. It has my focus piece after I finish the page on Cinderella. I feel like I need to put that aside for a little bit. I think I'm a little burnt out on that. And that's it. I don't know how to end this video. I know, words are hard apparently today. So, as of right now, I'm going to say that this is the end of the video. I don't know if I'm going to add anything. At 40 minutes, I don't think I'm going to add anything else to this video. But I am going to start recording some quilting videos, and so stay tuned for some of those, and they may show up as QuiltTube extras or added onto the end of the videos when I have no quilting content, but we will see. I hope that you enjoyed my answers to the Bellastitch pandemic tag. Please do your own. Please tag it. I love to be able to see it. Again, I've really been enjoying watching how people have been kind of responding to it. It's been fun. And thank you so much to Abby Bellastitch for doing this. And thank you everyone else. In the meantime, I'll see you in a couple of weeks and have a stitching good time. Take care. Bye-bye.